municipal building. Please be aware of the planning board policy for public hearings. No new applications will be heard after 9:30 p.m., and no new testimony will be taken after 10 o'clock p.m. Hearing assistance is available upon request. Accommodations will be made for individuals with a disability pursuant to the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, provided the individual with a disability provides 48 hours advance notice to the planning department secretary before the public meeting. However, if the individual should require special equipment or services, such as a CART transcriber, 7 days advance notice, excluding weekends and holidays, may be necessary. I would ask that everyone please rise to salute our flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Ms. Probst. Could I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Vessio.
Here.
Mr. Bongiorno.
Here.
Councilwoman Isla.
Here.
Mr. Pappas. Mr. Magora.
Here.
Mr. Wang.
Here.
Mr. Cora. Mr. Banga. Ms. Chartowich.
Here.
Mr. Chowdhury.
Here.
Mr. Atkins. Mr. Peck, Board Attorney.
Here.
Ms. Sarmad, Board Planner. And we have Marie Raffay for Bill Burr, Board Engineer this evening.
Here.
You have a quorum, you can proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Probst. Good evening and welcome to everybody. If there are any members of the public this evening that wish to address our board on any matters that are not listed on tonight's agenda, please feel free to come forward at this time. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll be moving right along to our resolution portion of our agenda. And the first resolution we have is a courtesy review for the SRVSA New Administration Building, Block 305, Lot 1, 50 Palimas Lane. Any questions, comments, or changes to the record? Hearing none, could I have a motion to adopt said resolution?
I'll motion.
That's Ms. Chartowich, and a second, please. That's Mr. Chowdhury. Could I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Vessio.
Yes.
Mr. Bongiorno.
Yes.
Councilwoman Isla.
Yes.
Mr. Magora.
Yes.
Mr. Wang.
Yes.
Ms. Chartowich.
Yes.
Mr. Chowdhury.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be skipping right over our pending resolutions for this evening. We'll be going straight to the memorialization resolution of the Planning Department for the major final subdivision of Rand Moshe. That's Block 405, Lot 1, which is 59 Cornell Boulevard. Any questions, comments, or changes to the record? Hearing none, could I have a motion to adopt said resolution?
I'll motion.
That's Ms. Chartowich. And a
Second.
second, please. Mr. Bongiorno. Ms. Probst, a roll call, please.
Vessio.
Yes?
Mr. Bongiorno.
Yes.
Councilwoman Isla.
Yes.
Ms. Chartowich.
Yes.
And Mr. Chowdhury.
Yes.
No one else was eligible.
Thank you, Ms. Probst. Ms. Probst, let the record reflect that Mr. Pappas is in the building this evening. Okay, moving along to our application portion of the evening. The first would be an initial hearing for application 26006-PB. That's Muller-Mark, 2001-14 Primrose Lane and 1001 Vossler Avenue, blocks 802, lots 70 and 78. And who will be representing the applicant this evening? Good. Good evening, very well. Would it be possible for somebody to take a microphone? Sure.
Please, whoever's going to be testifying, why don't you come up? I'll swear you all in. We'll get your names for the record, and then you can proceed. So can you all raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give in connection with this hearing will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Starting, ma'am, on the left, if you could just state your name and spell the last for the record.
Deborah, D-E-B-R-A, Harrison, Harrison.
Mark Muller, that's M-A-R-K-M-U-L-L-E-R.
Zachary Muller, Z-A-C-H-A-R-Y-M-U-L-L-E-R.
We're all set?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Before we get going, I see you have sort of a colorized sketch. Can we mark that as A1 with today's date?
please, please.
Can you write that on there? And that's the subdivision plan with the different lots highlighted.
That's correct, and I'll just walk you through that momentarily. This is from the Reynolds survey that was done for this application. So my name is Mark Muller. As I said, this is my wife, Deborah Harrison, and this is our son, Zachary Muller. My wife and I live at 2110 Arbor Way, which I'll just point out is right there. And we've raised our two children there, Zachary and Rebecca. We've lived there for just about over 30 years. Both of our children attended the local schools. And our son Zachary now lives at 1001 Vossler Avenue, which is right here, which is one of the properties we'll be discussing tonight, which is that lot 78. So just a little bit about us and what our connection is to Bridgewater. As I say, Deborah and I have been here for over 30 years. We're active members of the community. We both coach children's township recreation sports. I have served on the rec board here in Bridgewater. Deborah has been a scout leader over the years, and she also served on Bridgewater's Affordable Housing Board. She wins many awards every year as a maker of jam at the 4-H fair. And I'm also a Rutgers certified master gardener, and that's a lot of what I spend my time doing is working in our yard. I'm also the past president of the Morrison Somerset County Beekeepers Association, and we still to this day keep honeybees in our backyard and give our good friends honey. So that's just a little bit about us and our connection to the community. We're here today seeking approval for a lot line adjustment from the property at 2114 Primrose Lane in Martinsville, New Jersey, and that's also known as Block 802, Lot 70, and looking for that piece of property to be conveyed to where our son lives, which is the 1001 Vossler Avenue, Martinsville, New Jersey, also known as Block 802, Lot 78. So, as I say, I've mounted on this board here my plan from the Reynolds Group that was dated February 20th, 2026, identified as page LLA-1, I guess also known as Exhibit A1, Boundary Lot Line Adjustment Survey. And this is the same plan that was submitted with our application, although I've cropped it just a little bit to make it a little more user-friendly, and I've mounted it here for your convenience so I can point out the items on this testimony. So as I say, both my neighbor's Lot 70, which is right here, funky shape to it, if you would, is, let's see here, is Lot 70, and my lot, which my son lives at, is this Lot 78 right here in the green. So, so both my neighbor's Lot 70 and my Lot 78 currently conform to Bridgewater Township's R50 zoning, which is a zoning that's appropriate in this neighborhood here. Each property contains a single-family home. Right here is the one on Lot 70 that fronts Primrose Avenue, which is right here, and then Lot 78 is down here and has a long driveway that comes out on Vossler Avenue over on this side. But what you will see is that Lot 70, as I said, fronts Primrose Lane to the north, but to the southeast, this same Lot 70 property has a tailpiece that's approximately 84.52 feet wide and 450 feet long, and that's this tail right here that I'm pointing out that comes down there. And that tailpiece separates our property with our son that he lives at, it's Lot 78, from our property, Lot 60. And so that's the piece that in question that we're looking at right here. So, and so this tailpiece, I would best describe it as sloped. It's fully wooded, it's without structures, and it's otherwise landlocked in and of itself. And all we're looking to do is extend the property line between Lot 70 and 78, as I've put little dashes here, and seeking your approval for that so that we can convey Lot 70 and 78 they will both remain fully conforming lots when this is done per the township's R50 zoning requirements, and I can provide a little further detail on that in just a minute. So in sum, what we're seeking to do is looking for your approval to convey this tail piece of property right here over it from Lot 70 into Lot 78. And we have agreement from the two parties involved, and we are not looking for any variances at this point because everything is in compliance both before and after. So, any questions so far?
Thank you, Mr. Muller. I'm assuming that concludes your testimony.
I have a little more.
Very good. I'll just ask the board if they have any interim questions.
Yeah.
Mr. Chowdhury.
No. Let the
Okay,
council.
sure. So which lot did you say you are at?
So we are Lot 60. My wife and I live here.
60.
We
Okay.
own this lot in conjunction with our son, which is 78, and our neighbor, Carol Lytle, owns this lot right here, Lot 70, again, that fronts Primrose and then comes down with this tail piece here. And it's this tail piece that we're looking to buy from her and add it to this Lot 78. So this property would actually be more a regular shaped property, really. So
And you have a neighbor in lot 60?
we live in Lot 60.
You
right?
live in
My wife and
60.
I,
So
yeah.
61, those neighbors are okay with it? Because it looks like from a picture we have on page 2 of 6. Yeah,
Yeah, we're in good terms with all our neighbors.
Okay.
I mean, we sent out the forms, I told them, we've been talking to my neighbor Carol Lytle about this for the last 2 years, so I've been telling neighbors what we've been going to be doing. So,
okay, great. Yeah, I was just looking, they're so close to each other, at the cul-de-sac, right? You're at the
Yes,
cul-de-sac there,
exactly.
so,
exactly. And we sort of say, you know, the front of our house, we call it suburban, but the back of our house, we call it country because it's all wooded in here, and this is all green acres per Bridgewater, and then on the other side is the stream, and that's Washington Valley Park there. So it's very nice, very nice.
great, thank you.
What I'd like to do is just address some of the things.
You have another question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, I have a question for our planner. The lot that I would call a flag lot with frontage on Vossler, what would the square footage become, or acreage, do you know?
I have all that information too for you when you're ready.
It would have a resulting acreage of 5.56 acres, or 242,215 square feet.
And minimum lot size?
78 would be 5.56 acres.
Give me 1 second. Oh, sorry, that's the combined. I apologize. The proposed lot is 4.687 acres, which is 204,181. Thank you, Mr. Peck. The minimum lot area is the R50 zone, which is 50,000 square feet. So this is about, four times bigger.
So it's an R50 zone, which is single-family lots on 50,000 square feet. And it would become potentially buildable for how many lots?
It's hard to tell because it is a flag lot, so it wouldn't have the lot width. And I'm not quite sure of what how much property that represents on the, the flag stem portion of it.
Right.
But there, that is kind of one of the questions I sort of raised in the review of what will this be utilized for? Because it already is oversized.
So the only frontage is Vossler right now on this lot?
And it will continue to only be Vossler.
Yeah. Okay. That's all for now. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Chowdhury.
Thank you. Okay, so basically, what is the tail end of this pink line? It's 84 feet, 84.4, something like that you mentioned?
Yes, and I have, when I continue, I'll give you all those numbers. But so the tail piece is roughly 84.52 feet wide
Yes.
and 450 feet long.
Okay. Mr. Peck, can we ask what will be the future planning will be?
It's not really relevant to
Thank you.
the question really before the board is whether or not the proposed subdivision meets the subdivision criteria and zoning regulations.
If I may continue, I think I can address all those issues.
Please continue.
Thank you. So what I want to do now is address the engineering and zoning project review comments regarding the application and fill in any of those missing details that you're talking about, so I appreciate that. As I mentioned, both lots are currently oversized for R50 zoning and will remain so after the conveyance. So lot 70, which is this lot right here, is currently 2.281 acres or 99,339 square feet. The tail that's being split off from lot 70, assuming you approve that, is 0.873 acres or 38,034 square feet, which is an area that will be added to and merged with lot 78 here, okay? The new lot 70, assuming again that you approve the application, will consist of 1.408 acres or 61,305 square feet, still 11,000 square feet above the R50 zone minimum, okay? The current lot 78, our lot, where my son lives, right here, consists of 3.814 acres or 166,147 square feet. The new lot 78 would consist of 4.687 acres or 204,181 square feet. So, you know, our plans are my son will continue to live there as the home presently exists. We're not planning to remove any trees. We're not planning any new disturbances, grading, construction, or site improvements as per this application. Our only plan is really just to walk through our backyard to our son's backyard. And frankly, one day, if we're fortunate, maybe we can have some grandchildren walk back to our yards. So that's really the plan there. The proposed lot 70 impervious coverage will be 9.8% or 5,979 square feet, which is just shy of half of the allowable maximum. The proposed lot 78, this lot, impervious coverage will be 8.7% or 17,687 square feet, which is less than half the maximum allowed. So the proposed lot 70 area ratio, or FAR, will be 6.13%, which is 3,754 square feet as per Bridgewater Township's tax assessor, where I get that number, which is almost 1/3 the maximum FAR allowed. The proposed lot 78 FAR, again, our lot, will be 1.6% or 3,248 square feet, which is 1/10 of the maximum FAR allowed, okay? So while the approval of this conveyance will make our Arbor Way lot, this is lot 60 where my wife and I live, contiguous with our son's Vossler Avenue, lot 78, I just want to address that because they will share a border of approximately about 30 feet right there. We have no intention of consolidating our lot 60 with our new lot 78, and that's not part of this application. In fact, the two properties are titled differently, with lot 78 containing my son's name and my wife and my name, while my lot 60 is just in my wife's and my name. Again, we simply want to walk between our house and our son's house without trespassing on our neighbor's property. That's really the bottom line. So I will say also the township review noted that the Reynolds Group survey misidentified an adjacent Bridgewater Township-owned property, and that's important because we all own that, and that's this one right here, which is really green acres, and they had identified it as lot 69 when it should be correctly labeled as 79, so that's a typo that we can easily get fixed, and we'll do that and resubmit the survey. And lastly, I want to confirm that this proposed lot line adjustment will not adversely affect any of the existing easements situated on the subject lots. So aside from that, I just want to thank you for your time and consideration, and I'm open to any questions that you might have and any questions that anybody from the public might have. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller. Any final question for Mr. Mueller?
Yes. So I think it's a good gesture that you are trying to do, have a pathway to go to your son's house.
Yes.
Are you going to cut any trees?
No, we are, no, to be honest, as a master gardener, we bought this property about 2 years ago. We've cut no trees. I've added about 20 trees, and I have plans to add about another 40 trees, and that's just what I do. But no, this is wooded, it's sloped, it's really not too buildable on. The only path that's existing there is the ones that the deer have created, so that's what we use to walk from our property to my son's house. We have a pool here, and we hope one day to have grandkids, and they can walk down here and walk to our pool, so.
On your current properties, which is 60, I think?
Yes, right here in the blue.
That has a exit to which road?
So this is on Arbor Way right over here, which is a dead-end cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So, yes, and so if you know this area, we're by Washington Valley and Vossler, but this Primrose comes into Laurel Trail, which comes down into a dead end of Arbor Way, and we're the last house.
Your
on Arbor.
son will still have an exit to the Vossler Avenue, and you will be still continue to have the avenue towards the Arbor Road or something.
Yes, yes.
And that is no change at all, except you are acquiring about .873 acre of land from your neighbors.
If you were to come back 10 years from now, you wouldn't see anything different than what's there now. You wouldn't know anything different except this property would be part of that versus part of this.
Okay.
That's.
No problem. No question. Any more questions from
Any other questions from this side? Mr. Muller, you testified that the small piece of property that you're seeking to acquire, you just testified that it's mostly wooded, slightly sloped. Do you have any idea approximately how sloped it is of a property?
I don't know exactly. That was one of the things I didn't get from the Reynolds Group, so.
Does our engineering team perhaps have any idea? No sleep slopes, okay. Very,
Looking at the map, it looks like there's a 12-foot difference from the top side to the bottom. 12 feet. It says here 190.9 feet and 202.2. So that's about 12 feet.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I will tell you too, so where my son lives, this property, lot 78, this is basically grass here, but the woods actually starts right here and goes down. So if you walked across this, you wouldn't know the difference between the two properties. All you would know is you leave the grass here and walk through the woods, walk through the woods, walk through the woods, and then you're at our house. So, I mean, from here down is pretty much all that same look of property with just a wooded piece, so.
anybody else? How about from our professionals? Ms. Sarman.
Mr. Chairman, I believe most of the review comments in the joint review were covered by Mr. Mueller. I believe he did cover kind of the one question of, what's the purpose here, and the joining properties under common ownership. So we've heard testimony that it's not going to be utilized for anything other than just to have access and to kind of connect the properties. So I have nothing further.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the applicant has addressed all of the engineering comments in the joint review letter as well. We were curious about the easements, and it doesn't sound like anything's going to be affected by the easements that are on the property. Are you willing to submit the deed for review before you file that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And really, that's all I had.
Thank you. At this time, I wish to invite any members of the public to question directly any part of the testimony just heard by Mr. Mueller. Seeing none, hearing none, that'll close the public portion for this witness. Mr. Mueller, are you going to have any other testimony this evening from Ms. Harrison or Mr. Mueller Jr.?
You're scaring me. No, I don't expect any.
Very good. Sure. At this time, any final public commentary is allowed at this time, please? Seeing none, hearing none, that'll close the public commentary. Any final comments by our board? Mr. Mueller?
I have some.
Oh, Mr. Pappas.
I'm going to support this. I do have a concern that this, if it's not you, a future property owner will try to come for a single lot subdivision and have build several houses here. Again, that would be the subject of a future application, but I just think that that's a real concern that I have.
I appreciate that, and as you say, they would certainly have to come before the board if they did that. That's not something that we are considering. We bought the property 2 years ago and putting a significant amount of money in the existing house, which I think talks about we're not looking to change that house or do anything like that, so.
If it provides any comfort, I think anyone who would try to further subdivide that property, just given the configuration of the lots, we need several variances and waivers.
And Mr. Pappas, I went back, I was very curious about the configuration of the lots, so I went back through some of the deed history and the subdivisions, and there was actually two separate subdivisions, one that created Mr. Muller's house off of, is that Arborway?
Arborway, yes.
Arborway, that created one subdivision, and then north of the property along Primrose was also a separate subdivision, and throughout both of those, this property remained as a flag. It existed and then remained as a flag lot, and then eventually those properties were sold off as Green Acres to the south, mostly because the Middle Brook runs through it and there's flood hazard area. So it is interesting. I don't know if it was intentional, the flag lot, which are now prohibited. So it would, the configuration, I don't think would be as seamless if this was a full rectangle to Vossler, which the open space would then prevent ever from acquiring additional property here. So, you know, I do agree, though. That's the first thing that came to mind is we've got a big property and it's becoming bigger. You know, what's the end game? But we've heard as much as we could from the applicant about their plans. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pappas. Any other final comments from our board? Mr. Muller, any closing comments?
No, I rest. I just want to say thank you and appreciate your time and consideration on this. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. At this point, Mr. Peck will need a motion to approve the application with the lot line adjustment.
Yeah, the motion would be could be to approve the minor subdivision. I didn't hear any conditions other than the standard conditions that would be imposed on the application. That's standard, yeah, I'll go through on mine now.
Who would like to make that motion? I'll make the motion. That's Ms. Sikora, and I'll need a second.
Second.
That's Mr. Bongiorno. Could I have a roll call, please? Yes.
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 Thank you very much, Mr. Muller. Best of luck to you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Moving along to our second application this evening, that's going to be an initial hearing for application 26005PB. That's Viscofan USA, which is located at 145 Southside Avenue, Block 301, Lot 2. And they're here for preliminary and major final site plan with bulk variances. And who will be presenting this evening on behalf of the applicant?
Good evening, John Sullivan. I'm an attorney with the offices of Vastola and Sullivan, and I am representing the applicant, Viscofan USA Incorporated.
Good evening, Mr. Sullivan. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing okay.
So just to give you a little bit of background here, Viscofan is a corporation. They are engaged in the operation of the production of casings and packaging solutions for the food industry. They've been conducting that particular operation on this site for a number of years, and they are currently the owner of the property. Before them, the property was also used for the same type of purpose. I call it kind of an industrial office campus. It is a piece of property. It's fully improved. It has 4 separate buildings on the property now. It has drive aisles, areas, walkways, and like I said, fully improved. The property itself is located at 141 Southside Avenue. It is Lot 2 in Block 301, and we are located in the M2 zoning district. It is important to note this is a corner lot. We're located at the corner of Southside Avenue and Loser Avenue. And the size of the lot is just over 15 acres. The proposal before you tonight is to construct an addition to the northernmost building and reconfigure the parking lot and drive aisles right in that particular area. And that is in order to expand the current operation in that building. The total size of the addition will be approximately 16,000 square feet. The relief that we're requesting tonight is for preliminary and final major site plan approval, together with some variances I'll have our planner discuss those in more detail, but there are some existing non-conforming conditions which we're going to ask for confirmation of, and there are some additional variance conditions which we are creating as a result of this application. What we submitted to you is the site plan originally dated January 19th of this year. That's prepared by Mr. Montana, and the last revision date on that is February 13th of 2026. We also submitted the architectural plans, which are dated February 13th of 2026, prepared by Harry T. Osborne. We submitted a stormwater management report dated January of 2026, also prepared by Mr. Montana. We submitted the survey prepared by Brad Joshnuik, dated July 2nd of 2023, and last revised January 13th of 2026. We also submitted a steep slope analysis as well. Our witnesses tonight are Mr. Guillermo Diaz. He is the CEO of the applicant. We have Harry Osborne, who is our architect. We have Adolph Montana, who is our engineer. And we have Brian McPeak, who is our professional planner. Do we want to swear everybody in at once?
Yes, please. Do you swear that the testimony you will give in connection with this hearing will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Great. Now, starting your right, my left, if you could just state your name and spell the last for the record.
Adolph Montana, A-D-O-L-F, Montana, M-O-N-T-A-N-A. I'm with PSNS at 3 Mountain View Road, Warren, New Jersey.
Harry Osborne, Harry Osborne. I'm a registered architect in the state of New Jersey, and I work for PSNS at the same address.
Hi, Guillermo Diaz, Guillermo Diec. I'm the CEO of Viscofan US, and representing here applicant. Thank you.
Good evening, Brian McPeak, B-R-I-A-N, M-C, capital P-E-A-K. I'm a licensed professional planner, also employed by PSNS, though in a different office. I'm at 1450 Route 35 North in Wall Township.
Okay, I'd like to begin with Mr. Diaz. So, Mr. Diaz, what is your position with Viscofan USA, Inc.?
I'm the CEO.
Okay, and that company is not only the owner of the property, but also the occupant and operator of the processes that go on the site?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
And how long is it on the property, do you know?
Since 2020. Owns the property since 2020.
And prior to that, I understand that there was essentially the same use on the property for a number of years. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. The building was built in the mid-60s by Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson has been operating the facility till the 90s, 1991 exactly. Then the property and the business was acquired by Nita Casing, another company performing the same activity. And Nita Casing has been operating the plant since 1991 till 2020. 2020, Viscofan acquired the property, the business, and we've been running the plant and the facility ever since.
If I may, Mr. Diaz, sometimes we actually have this being streamed live. So anybody that asks is going to give testimony this evening, make sure you speak very loudly into the microphone, because at times they complain they cannot hear the testimony.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Proceed.
And can you describe to the board exactly what you do on the site?
Okay. We continue performing the same activity. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Here we go.
We continue performing the same activity as the former owners of the facility have been doing in the previous years. What we make in there is we manufacture artificial casings for the meat industry. Basically, what we do is the skin of the sausages. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just to give you an idea of where you can find our products in the everyday life, 2 out of the 3 hot dogs consumed in the United States are made with the casing that we manufacture in here. Or the pepperoni cup in the pizza, that pepperoni is stuffed in the casing that we made in here. Okay, that's what we're doing there. And we also manufacture biomedical gels made of collagen for the skin health industry. Okay, these patches for the skin to recover after a burn, for example. Yeah, that kind of products. It's everything made on collagen, edible collagen.
And there are 4 separate buildings on the site, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And can you just explain to the board the use of each building?
Right. What we call admin building is a vacant space. There were former offices. They remain vacant right now. We have another building. It used to be an R&D building used by Johnson & Johnson in the past. We keep it empty as well. We use it as storage, but it's remained empty of people normally. And then we have the main building. What we call the main building is where we have the production lines or the extrusion lines where we make the casing, our product. And the other one is what we call the processing building, is where we receive the raw materials and we start the process. And this is the building of the subject for the project, the one we want to extend.
And what are your hours of operation?
The plant operates 24/7, continuously, 365 days a year, 24/7. And we operate on a shift schedule. We have 2 shifts per day, 12-hour shift, and 24/7, continuous process.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what are the total number of employees overall, and then what is the total number of employees per shift?
Okay, currently we employ 132 exactly employees as of today. And the maximum amount of people that we may have simultaneously at the plant is 67 on a normal day. If we consider the overlap of the changeover in the shift, we may reach up to 80 people maximum.
And based on your long experience with the property, what has been your maximum number of parking spaces that are used at any one time?
As I said, maximum could be around 70. We normally have 67 people at the same time, with the overlap in the changeover of the shift up to 80. So that would be the number, 80 maximum, yeah.
Okay, and have you had any issues with not having enough available parking on the site at any time?
No, never.
And let's talk a little bit about deliveries that are made to the site now. Can you speak about how often these happen on either a weekly or a monthly basis?
Yes, we do have currently around 25 inbound trucks per month coming to the plant.
Are those tractor trailers or box trucks or?
It's mainly tractor trailers, yeah, mainly. Yeah.
25 per month?
25 per month, exactly, right. And that includes everything, incoming raw materials, packaging supplies, even the waste pickup, okay? And we have around 20 outbound truckloads for the shipping of the merchandise, of our product, per month as well. So 25 inbound, 20 outbound per month.
And you propose to construct an addition to the building I had mentioned earlier, and that'll be in accordance with the plan submitted. Can you explain to the board what goes on in that building now and how that will be changed if the addition is constructed?
Yeah. The activity is going to remain the same. I mean, the nature of the activity. What we do in that building is we receive the raw material, our main raw material for making the casings, the collagen casings, and we wash it, we treat it with water and salt, we grind it, we use industrial meat grinder, and then we create a paste. That's what we transfer to the main building, to the main building, and we continue the extrusion process in there. The activity is going to remain the same. We just want to increase capacity, but it's going to be the same product, the same process.
Okay, and if this application were to be approved and the addition constructed, would there be an increase in number of employees?
It's going to be a small increase of employees. Actually, the current number we have right now considers we have already started the pre-hiring the employees because we need training for them to get used to the process and they need training. So the number is going to go up to maybe 140 at max.
And will there be a small increase in parking demand as well?
Yes, so if we are saying that we're going to right now we are using up to 80 maximum simultaneously. If we consider this increase in the headcount of up to 140 is plus 10. So we will go up to 90 maximum in the overlap in the changeover for the shift.
So you feel that the 160 parking spaces that we are proposing will be more than sufficient for your needs?
Definitely, yeah.
And what about deliveries in and shipments out? Will they change at all?
Yes, there will be a slight increase. So we are going to go from 25 inbound per month up to 30. And for the outbound, the shipping, from 20 per month to 25. That's what we estimate as of now.
And can you explain to the board how we handle refuse and recycling now, and whether that will change at all if this application were approved?
Okay. Right now, we segregation program in the plant. So we
You keep the mic closer to your mouth, please.
we segregate the waste in the plant internally. So we segregate the boot, the casing, for our process.
Mr. Chairman, can we get him a different mic? That one doesn't seem to be working well.
You could attempt to use the one here at the lectern.
Yep. Okay. I'll try. Okay. So as I was saying, we segregate the different types of fractions of waste. We send around 90% of our waste, it goes to beneficial reuse. Only a 10% fraction goes to the landfill right now. This is a program we have been implementing in the last 2 years. Actually, we are seeking the zero waste certification. I'm not sure if you are familiar with that. So we are seeking that certification. We are already in the parameters to achieve that certification. That means it's less than 10% of the waste can go to the landfill. So we are already in those parameters.
Excuse me. What is your waste made up of?
Mainly wood for the pallets that we use to transport our mercancy. Metal, some metal scrap that we send to recycling. Metal.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Metal, right. And then we have the reject for our process, which is collagen casings. The skin, imagine all meters of casing for the sausage. That's if it doesn't meet the quality standard, we need to waste it. So it's, I can show you if you want. I have some samples in here, so you can see it. But it's collagen, edible collagen waste.
Now, you take in hides, cow hides?
Right, that's the raw material.
And how do you treat them?
Say that again? Sorry.
How do you treat them?
We receive them in the building. We want to increase the capacity right now. We introduce them in the mixer drums. It's like a vessel. We wash them. We remove some salt because the hides are coming preserved with salt. We wash them, and then we add citric acid to adjust the pH of the blend, and that's it. Then we remove, we wash out the water, the salt, and then we grind.
What do you do with that water?
The water goes to we have a small water treatment plant. It's not a plant. Actually, it's 2 big vessels where we adjust the pH in there. We need to meet the Sewer Authority. We need to meet the pH standard between 5 and 9. So we adjust the pH before it goes to the sewer. And that water goes in there, and we use citric acid or sodium bicarbonate to adjust the pH. That's the
What,
we do in there.
what chemicals do you use to do that?
Yeah, citric acid.
I'm sorry?
Citric acid.
Okay.
That's to
Citric acid.
reduce the pH, or sodium bicarbonate to increase the pH. That is already communicate and in agreement with the Somerset Raritan Valley Sewer Authority, and every quarter we report the results.
So here's a question. You don't use any TCE or PCE chemicals?
TCE?
Yes. Trichloroline, I can't even pronounce it. It's trichloroethylene.
No.
No? And Perchil, I can't even pronounce it, it's called PCEs. You don't use any of those types of chemicals?
No, not what I'm aware of. No, those names doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, so just to clarify, I'm sorry, I don't understand your process enough. You change the pH, you have this liquid in a holding tank?
Yes.
It's concrete or it's what?
No, it's metal. It's a metal.
It's metal.
Metal or fiber. It's fiberglass.
Okay.
Yeah. The inner coating is fiberglass, right? Yeah.
So just like a homeowner will put in something to change the pH of his pool, you do the same thing.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And once you do that, that water can be released where?
The sewer to the sewer.
Into the sewer.
Yes, to the sewer line of the city. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bargiarno. Please conclude your testimony. Thank you. Or continue, at least.
Yeah, I think we've actually pretty much concluded.
Was there anything further you wanted to add to that?
No.
I know you had a line of thought going there before we had questions about chemicals and transfer chemicals and whatnot. So if there's anything else that you want to add to that, please feel free to do so.
No, I think all the notes I have in here, we have already go through them. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
that will be from my side.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Okay, I'll open up to the graded board for any questions. Mr. Chowdhury.
Questions. First of all, what is the MathPro building? You may have explained, but kindly explain again, what is the MathPro?
Yes, MathPro stands for Material Processing. That's the name that former user of the plant Johnson & Johnson used. So this is where we receive the raw material.
Known about that one. That's good.
That's it.
Now, you said the R&D building is not being used, it is being actually used for storage.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure this is there may be some, old lab equipment or something like that, which is, you know better than me. But why don't you use the R&D building itself instead of building another building near with MathPro?
Well, because both are separate. There is physical separation in between, and we need to keep the continuity of the processing line that we have in the existing MathPro building. We need to extend the conveyor belt and add another pair of vessels to continue the process. So we need to keep it together.
Okay. I may have additional question later on, but did you mention citric acid or sulfuric acid?
Citric.
Not the sulfuric. That's why
different.
I was more worried about it when...
Citric acid, yeah. All the chemicals we use are food safe because the product we do is edible.
So therefore, no biohazard chemical comes out of your processing areas, and 10% you are trying to reduce it up to 0% later on. Okay, neighborhood 10% goes to here. Where do you put the 10% waste now? Where do you dump the 10% waste now?
Well, 90% goes to compost mainly, and the 10% that it doesn't go to beneficial reuse, it goes to the landfill.
Okay. The current area of the proposed addition of MathPro building, this is all flat land, right? There is nothing else there.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I didn't get it.
Proposed MathPro building expansions, that area is 16,000 square feet or so. That basically is, there is no tree or nothing. It is all vacant land, basically. Right, okay. I'm sure you'll have a record of all the stormwater management and everything else later on.
Yes.
So
They'll have an engineer.
no problem. We'll have a different question later on. Thank you. I'm done.
I think some of the line of questioning from Mr. Chowdhury and Mr. Bargiarno is that the byproducts of your process, the byproducts are essentially wood, metals, and other things that become either composted or sent off-site for scrapping, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And as far as the byproducts of the process of the actual sausage caging itself are mostly food safe and NSF safe, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so there are no hazardous materials that are created as a result of the byproduct process?
Nothing. No.
Okay, so whatever does go into our municipal sewers is not of a hazardous material?
Exactly, no.
Okay, thank you. And is there any containerization of hazardous materials on site?
No, the only thing in the labs we use a small amount of chlorine, and we dispose it in our hazardous material waste container, but that's for the lab testing. That's the only thing, but that's nothing to do with the expansion of the building. That's the chemical we use in the lab for the quality testing.
Okay. And that's safely guarded?
Yes, yes, definitely. We have the hazmat shed in the plant,
Okay.
roof, and yeah.
Any other questions along this thought process?
Yeah, so I think you mentioned that J&J used to own some of this, Johnson & Johnson. They obviously weren't doing food production, right? So was that all cleared now that you are doing food production? Any chemicals, hazardous material that was on site, was that all cleared? Any EPA requirements?
Yes, everything. Well, we didn't purchase the facility to Johnson & Johnson. We purchased it to the next owner, Nita Casing, okay? But anything was left in there from Johnson & Johnson rather than all the equipment and all machinery that we keep using until we have removed it, but nothing from Johnson & Johnson. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier the deliveries by semi-trailer. Do those trailers and tractors stay overnight?
No. Currently, we have installed a fence, so now they cannot enter to the property. In the past, sometimes they used to do it because they could enter to the property and stay there overnight until we do the download of the truck the next morning. Not anymore. No.
Mr. Bongiorno.
Would you be up for allowing a tour of the facility?
Yes.
Could you work through Nancy to arrange that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bongiorno. I think any questioning regarding any types of tours of your facility, again, please work directly through Nancy. I think the broader scope, or I should say the minimized scope, would be somebody that's qualified to tour the site, somebody that could report on behalf to the board as a liaison. So that's something that you could directly set up with Ms. Probst over here.
Okay. Sure.
Any other questions? How about from our professionals?
Just a couple, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Sarwat.
You'd mentioned that the hides currently are processed in like a large drum, essentially, right? So it just kind of spins them around like a dryer or something.
Right.
Have there ever been any, you are kind of surrounded by residential neighbors. Have there been any noise complaints or issues with noise?
No.
And do you expect with the expansion of the building, which I think you mentioned would be for the same process, there would be any noise issues?
It's going to be the same thing. We don't expect any noise increase.
And is there any kind of noise that you can hear outside the facility? Okay. Last question. You'd mentioned kind of the current delivery scheme right now, how many tractor trailers in and out that you expect. Do you think with the expansion of the building, there will be increased deliveries or increased truck traffic?
Yes, there will be. We will go from, as I said, from 25 inbound trucks per month up to 30, and outbound trucks from 20 to 25 per month. That's our estimate.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Sarman. How about from our engineering department?
So could you talk about the grease interceptor and the pump that's outside, that's going to be proposed outside the building? It doesn't look like there was a grease interceptor before. What is changing that now there needs to be a grease interceptor? Is there something about the process? If it's for the engineer later on, I'll hold off on that.
Yeah, our engineer will address.
That's fine. I just wanted to see if there was something internally about your process that was changing. I think
No,
that was
the
all.
process is not changing, it's the same process.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. At this time, any members of the public that wish to question Mr. Diaz, please feel free to come on at this time. I don't see any members of the public in the audience, so that'll close for this witness. Thank you very much, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you.
Our next witness will be our architect, Mr. Osborne. And Mr. Osborne, if you could start by stating your qualifications for the board.
Yes, good evening. My name's Harry Osborne. I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey as well as about a dozen other states. I've been practicing since 1978, and I've been before this board a number of times.
And is your license current and in good standing?
Yes, my license is current.
We would ask that Mr. Osborne be so accepted.
Does the board have any objections to Mr. Osborne's qualifications? Please proceed.
Now, you had prepared the architectural plans that we've submitted to the board?
Yes.
And you're familiar with the site and the application and the existing building that we want to put the addition on?
Yes, very familiar.
Could you describe to the board the existing structure in terms of elevations, floor plans, as well as items such as size, layout, height, and the facades? And then finish up on that with the proposed addition.
Sure. The existing building that we are talking about is in the rear of the property. It's currently 13,694 square feet. The building has been operating on the site and consists primarily of a concrete masonry structure with an overall building height of about 21 feet, 8.5 inches above finished grade. The applicant is proposing to construct a 16,920 square foot addition to support the continued growth of the operation. The addition has been carefully designed to function as an extension of the existing facility while meeting the operational requirements of the manufacturing process. The addition will be constructed of a pre-engineered metal building utilizing insulated metal wall panels. The construction method was selected because it's particularly well suited for the industrial processing facility. It provides durable, energy efficient, it'll keep the noise down, the speed of construction, and flexibility for the equipment and the manufacturing process that will occur within the building. The roof of the building is a 1/2 inch and 12 slope standing seam metal roof, resulting in a maximum ridge height of 32 feet above finished grade. Although the addition is taller than the existing masonry building, the increased height is driven by the operational needs of the facility and the clear interior volume required to accommodate the specialized processing equipment and material handling process. The building has been proportioned to achieve these functional requirements while maintaining a simple and orderly architectural appearance. Architecturally, the proposed addition components of the existing industrial character of the site. The use of insulated metal panels will provide clean, contemporary appearance with a long-term durability and low maintenance requirements. As part of the project, a limited rooftop mechanical equipment will be added and installed on the existing lower rooftop. Specifically, a new air handler will be located on the roof of the existing building to provide air conditioning to the new addition. And there will be an exhaust fan as well on the existing building. These mechanical units are typically for an industrial facility of this nature and have been located to minimize their visual impact. They will serve only as operational requirements of the expanded facility and not significantly alter the appearance of the existing building. From an architectural standpoint, the proposed improvements have been designed to integrate with the existing facility while providing the functional necessary for the owner's continued operation. The building materials are durable and appropriate for industrial use. The existing building is masonry and will be cleaned and repainted to match the new building. Any questions?
Any questions?
Well, for later on.
Sorry?
We'll ask later on.
Okay. No questions thus far. Any questions from our professionals? From our members of the public? None from our members of the public. Please proceed.
Thank you.
Our next witness will be Mr. Montana, our engineer.
No.
And Mr. Montana, would you start by explaining your qualifications to the board?
I am a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. I have a good standing license. I've been doing this for 25 years. And I have testified in multiple planning boards and zoning boards.
We would ask that Mr. Montana be so accepted.
Does the board have any reservations regarding Mr. Montana's qualifications? None heard, please proceed.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Montana, you prepared the site plan and related drawings as well as the stormwater report that we've submitted to the board?
That's correct.
And you're familiar with the site and the application?
That's correct.
Could you begin by describing the site as it exists now and its overall condition?
Okay. Every member of the board has seen my screen, correct?
Yes.
Right. So, as I was testified before, there are 4 existing buildings on the site. The site is next to Southside Avenue and Loser Street. The site is approximately 15.3 acres. It's identified as Lot 301, Lot 2. The project area is situated on the M2 General Manufacturing Zone within the township. The site is bordered by the train track on the north. You have residential units on the east and south side, and you have an existing park to the west. The project approximately right now has 164 existing parking spaces. The applicant is proposing to construct a building expansion in the rear. I'm going to switch to another exhibit. This is basically a color exhibit of the site plan of sheet C4.
You call that Exhibit A1,
Yes,
colorized site plan?
correct.
Do we have hard copy that you can provide to Nancy, or can we get that, Mr. Sullivan? If we don't have a copy tonight, can you get a copy, Ms. Probst, tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so like I said, the applicant is proposing to construct an expansion in the rear of the site. The building expansion is approximately 16,920 square feet. The existing parking lot in the rear of the site, due to the expansion, is going to get reconfigured. And due to the reconfiguration, the parking space is going to go down to 160 spaces. We're also proposing a series of sidewalks on the south side of the building and on the north side as well. Those sidewalks are concrete, 4 feet wide. The parking spaces are 9 by 18 feet. The drive aisles are approximately 24 feet. The traffic pattern, as I was mentioned before, that's not going to change. Deliveries will come in through south side and they will leave through the South Side Avenue. The driveway located on Loser Avenue is for employees only. In terms of existing condition, a portion of the site is located within the flood hazard area, but none of the improvements are located within the flood hazard area. In terms of bulk requirements, I'm just going to put the numbers on the record. The minimum lot area requires 20 acres. We're proposing 15.3. That's an existing non-condition. The minimum width required for the site is 500 feet. We're proposing 893. Minimum front yard for the principal building along Loser Avenue is 150. We're proposing 90.5. That's a pre-existing non-conformance. Minimum front yard principal for the principal building on this for Southside Avenue is also 150. We're providing 81, which is also the pre-existing non-conformance. For the side yards, it's 75, and we're providing 35.7, which is also existing non-conformance. For the rear, it's 100 feet required, and we're providing 67.2. For the accessory building in the rear, the minimum side yard is 75 feet, and we're providing 27.7. We will require variance for this condition. The minimum rear yard for the accessory building is 100 feet, and we're providing 187.4. In terms of improved lot coverage, we're allowed 60%, existing condition is 50.2, and based on the improvements, we're going up to 52%. In terms of maximum floor area ratio, required is 0.35, existing is 0.22, and we're proposing to increase the FAR to 0.24. And as the architect testified just now, the maximum building height requires 3 stories, 45 feet in height. Our proposed building expansion is 1 story, 32 feet in height. As I mentioned before, there is like 164 existing spaces. Per the owner's requirement, we need 566. With the new improvements, we'll reduce the parking count to 160, as I stated earlier. As the applicant testified, Mr. Guillermo testified before, the employee count is only 130. It is my understanding that the maximum number of employees at one time will not be more than 80. Under the proposed condition, no more than 90. Therefore, we are providing more than the site requires to support this facility. In terms of ADA spaces, there are 2 ADA spaces at the main building at the entrance. Based on the 160 spaces provided, we will need an additional 4 spaces. So for resolution compliance, we'll show that on the plan so we can comply with the requirements. Other site items that we're proposing, all the curbing shown on the screen. It's going to be 6-inch concrete curbs. All the striping is thermoplastic white stripes. The proposed new pavement will be asphalt. We are proposing concrete pavement on the east side of the building. Right here, there's 2 doors that you come in, and the applicant would like for that to be concrete. So we're doing that. In terms of topography, the site slopes from north to south. So from here all the way down to South Avenue. In terms of the drainage, it does the same thing, flows from north to south. There is an existing drainage system that comes off from our site. It's an 18-inch line that goes down to a 24-inch RCP pipe, and then from there runs down to the west. In the proposed conditions, we're going to maintain the existing drainage patterns. The surface runoff for the proposed improvements will be collected via a proposed stormwater drainage system, which is comprised of HDPE piping, catch basins that will collect the surface runoff and direct it towards the proposed small-scale infiltration basin. The small-scale infiltration basin is right here in the middle of the parking lot. The small-scale infiltration basin will be storm-tech chambers, which is semi-arches. Usually, if you see in constructions, they're yellow plastic chambers. They're manufactured by ADS. Prior to the infiltration basin, we're proposing 2 manufacturing devices. They're named bay filters. They're located at this right here, which is going to do a pre-treatment before it goes into the filtration basin. The proposed roof, we have roof leaders located along the north side and the south side of the building. That will also be collected via the drainage system and will go down to the infiltration basin. This project is considered a major development, therefore subject to the new green infrastructure stormwater management requirement and JAC 7:8. The stormwater criteria for water quantity has been met using the small-scale infiltration basin. Approximately 1.7 acres of the site will be disturbed. The proposed improvements will increase impervious coverage by approximately 0.3 acres, but the proposed project will decrease motor vehicle surface by approximately 0.14 acres. Therefore, water quality measures for this project is not required. In terms of stormwater quantity, we addressed it by detaining the 2, the 10, and the 100-year storm by applying the required reductions of 50, 75, and 80, respectively. Even though groundwater recharge is not required for this project because the project is located within the metropolitan area PA1, it's exempted from the recharge requirement. However, the small infiltration basin will provide some water recharge for the project by virtual infiltration component of the basin. Therefore, the proposed stormwater management strategy meets the new green infrastructure requirements set by NJDEP. As was mentioned before, the project proposed a new, I'm going to go to the set of plans that were submitted to the board. I'm going to go to the utility plan. This is sheet CO5. So you should have a copy of this. So, as mentioned before, there's a process system that's part of the casing production process. We're proposing a brand new 8-inch pipe coming out of the existing base, coming out of the building, and then is going right into a 5,000-gallon grease interceptor. The grease interceptor is approximately 17 by 9 feet. After the grease trap, the process fluid enters the duplex pump station system. A single pump is designed to handle the anticipated peak flow of approximately 350 gallons per minute. The proposed pump is a submersible pump manufactured by Flight, model N3102MT. After the pump station, we're proposing a 4-inch HDPE force main that goes to the main building. There's an effluent room in the building that deals with the process fluid. It is also my understanding that there are 6 existing tanks, and the new expansion will add an additional 9 tanks for a total of 15 tanks. The new number of tanks will not increase the flow, as the applicant would only drain 2 tanks at the time, as it does today. It's also my understanding that Viscofan has a permit with SRVSA to discharge a maximum of 390,000 gallons per day. The new proposed discharge will not violate the permit condition. Other improvements when it comes to utilities, we're relocating the hydrant at this location because due to the improvements, it needed to be moved. We're also rerouting the existing sanitary line that's coming out from the building today. Due to the expansion, right now it goes in this direction, so the building will conflict. So we're bringing it around and tying it to the existing building. There was a question before by the planning board engineer regarding the grease trap. There is an existing grease trap here today, and it's at this location. And due to the expansion, it needs to be relocated. So therefore, the grease trap is doing the same function that the existing structure does today. In terms of landscaping, I'm just going to change to sheet number 6. So we're proposing to install the following plant materials as shown on sheet CO6. We're proposing 8 deciduous trees. They're 2.5 to 3 inch in caliber. We're using red maples. We're proposing 35 evergreen trees. They're 6 to 8 feet in height, and we're using eastern red cedars. We're also proposing 8 shade trees. They're 2.5 to 3 inch caliber London plane trees. We're also proposing 27 evergreen shrubs. They're 3 gallons in size. 8 of them will be barren hollies and 19 junipers. As the ordinance requires, we are required to plant 45 trees and 27 shrubs, and our landscaping design proposes 45 trees and 27 shrubs. Also, as per the ordinance, we're required to install 6 shade trees. We are proposing 8 shade trees to meet that requirement. Finally, the required foundation planting requires the installation of 234 shrubs, and unfortunately, we're providing none around the perimeter of the existing building. The reason for that...
We're going to allow him to continue.
So the reason for that, my understanding is the process facility requires a clean environment and the applicant believes that having planting material in close proximity to the proposed doors will create an unsafe environment. So basically, that's my understanding of the application process. So, also in terms of landscaping, the ordinance requires 5% in the parking lot. Our proposed design is providing 8.9%.
And just while we're on landscaping, it was mentioned earlier that there's not going to be any trees removed for this project, is that correct?
That is correct. We're not removing any trees. I am going to switch to sheet CO7. This is the lighting plan. That's part of the plans that was submitted to the board. In terms of lighting, we're proposing 3 LED light fixtures with a type 4 distribution with a house-size shields mounted at 25 feet, manufactured by Lithonia. The light fixtures will be mounted on a square straight pole with a natural aluminum finish. We're also proposing 13 LED wall-mounted sconces with a natural aluminum finish manufactured also by Lithonia. The light fixtures will be mounted at various heights, either 8, 16, and 18 feet. All fixtures will be LED, full cutoff with a temperature of 4,000 Kelvin. The average foot candle are as follows. Parking areas will have an average of 1.7 foot candles. Loading areas will have an average of 5.3 foot candles. And the sidewalks will range between 1.9 and 3.1 foot candles. The lighting design level meets the Township of Bridgewater ordinance requirement. The lighting fixtures will be equipped with automatic lighting control from dusk to dawn. And that concludes my direct testimony, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, I actually want to just cover a couple of more things. In terms of, are there any constraints on the property in terms of slopes?
We did submit a steep slope analysis to the board. And I'm just going to switch back to the exhibit. We pretty much comply with the requirement of the ordinance. There are 2 little contours that run in this location that slightly exceed the 10%. And that's not a natural man-made feature. So, like I said, it's minimal.
Okay, and then you had mentioned about, I guess, a portion of the property is affected by a flood area?
Correct.
And is that, in terms of what we are proposing, is that going to be within the flood area?
No, it's not within the flood hazards, therefore NJDP application is not required.
Okay, and you covered a large part of what was in the board and staff reports that we received, but just a couple of things to cover. In terms of Ms. Sarmad's July 1st report, on page 5, she asked for a breakdown of the calculations for both lot coverage and FAR. We can provide that, correct?
That's correct.
And on page 7 is requesting an amendment of the zoning table, and I think we can also comply with that.
That's correct.
In terms of Mr. Burr's report, which is dated July 2nd, I think under policy we've covered items 4 and 5. In terms of 6, there are no easements or restrictions that would prevent or interfere with what we are proposing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then I'd like to go to technical review. You addressed the ADA parking spaces. Item 5 asks about EV spaces. Can you address that?
Right now, the plan is it's not proposing any EV spaces.
And are any required?
It depends how the board deems the application. To me, if it's required, you probably will need 4% of what we're proposing, or 160. So that means we would need 70 EV spaces, and one of them will probably need to be ADA. But I'll leave that to the board.
And there's a question as to whether there will be some bollards in the area of the overhead doors.
That's correct. The architectural plan submitted to the board showed bollards right at the entrance. here on the north side of the building, and there was 2 additional bollards on the south side door. We will show the bollards under the resolution compliance process.
Okay, and then under grading and drainage, there's 21 items there. Is there anything in there that we either can't comply with or requires some further discussion with the board?
No, we'll comply to all the comments for stormwater management.
And then that would be my same question in connection with item C, landscaping and lighting comments. I believe there's a total of 9 comments there.
That's correct. We'll comply with the comments for landscaping and lighting.
And item D, in terms of environmental impact statement. I understand an abbreviated statement was submitted, but it looks like they are requiring a more substantial statement. Is that something that we can provide?
That's correct. My office is preparing the EIS, and it's almost completed and will be submitted to the board, part of the resolution compliance.
Mr. Peck, could we make that a condition of approval?
Already noted.
And under item E, general comments, I believe number 2, he's recommending a table be added to show the proposed and existing coverage, and we will provide that as well, correct?
That's correct.
In terms of traffic and safety police, there was no comment on that report. Same for the tax assessor, no comment. And that brings us to the Mr. Genova's report of June 30th of 2026. In particular, he has a number of review comments beginning on page 2. And can you address these in general, and if there's anything here that we feel we can't or we shouldn't have to comply with, can you address those as well?
Yes, for the most part, I believe that the process system doesn't need to follow the sanitary sewer guidelines. I think that system is a little different, but we can have that discussion with the sewer authority, with Mr. Genova. In terms of the sanitary sewer on the lateral, we'll definitely comply with those comments. We'll make sure that it has the proper cover. I know he'd also mentioned the slope. Right now we are showing 0.5%. I think he says 2% is typical, but it's an existing condition. We're just rerouting the lateral.
What was the condition that you were going to review with Mr. Genova that you proposed?
I just want to make sure that I understand that the system that's dealing with process.
What are you referring to?
In general, because like I said, I think he thought maybe the process system was an existing, it was a sanitary sewer line, and it really isn't. So when it comes to the sanitary sewer comments for true sewer, yes, of course, we'll comply with that. I did have one thing that is worth mentioning. He is requesting a clean out right at the right-of-way on the final sanitary sewer line coming out of the property. We're not proposing any improvements at that location, so not sure how applicable that is. And everything else which we'll comply with.
The floodplain administrator indicates that there are no comments and that we've submitted what needed to be submitted. And in terms of code enforcement, there was no comment. And I think zoning, there was no comment as well. I think the last of the reports is from the Bureau of Fire Safety, and that has 4 comments, numbers 1 through 4. Can you, and I do believe we're able to comply with items 1, 3, and 4, is that correct?
Well,
could you review each of those, please? I can't find my copy.
Okay. So item number 1 is relocate fire department connection or hydrant closer within 50 feet of each other.
Yeah, we'll comply with that. Right now, the plan's showing them right here. We'll put it on the other side of the building, no more than 50 feet from the proposed hydrant.
And item number 3 is the access road leading from Loser Avenue, which is on the right side of our building. We should mark that as a fire lane?
That's correct. You're talking about number 2 now?
No, number 3.
Number 3, yes.
Okay, and we'll do that by pavement markings as well as signage indicating no parking.
That's correct.
And then item 4, establish marked fire lanes in front of the new building with pavement and/or signs detailing the no parking areas.
Yes, we'll do that.
Now, item number 2, I think we want to discuss this a little bit further. The comment is that the access road at the right of the building from Loser Avenue needs to be 26 feet in width, and I don't believe that we are 26 feet in width the entire distance, are we?
No, we're not. The existing driveway right here on Loser Avenue is approximately 21 feet. And then as we start our proposed improvements, we go from 21 to 25 feet. That we have the existing building that is in very close proximity of that existing driveway, and I believe there are some utilities on the right side as you come in. So it'll be tough to make that 26 feet. But right now, this is an existing condition. I'm not sure if the fire chief has had any issues coming into the site.
And you feel, the width at 21 feet up to 25 feet is adequate to get an emergency vehicle in there?
It's bigger than a 12-inch lane, so it should be more than adequate, but I'll defer that to the fire chief.
Thank you. That's all I have for Mr. Montana.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Thank you, Mr. Montana. I'd like to open up to the board. We've heard a lot from this witness. Any questions?
I have a few.
Ms. Sikora?
Thank you. You mentioned an area that employees can only come in, right? Outside of the trucks that come in and employees, who else comes on this site?
That's a question for the applicant. All I'm aware is deliveries and employees.
Yes?
Yes, sometimes we also have contractors coming to the plant to do maintenance stuff, but that's the only other visitor we may have. Yeah.
And how often are they there?
Maybe once, twice per week, depend on demand. Yeah, but no more than that.
Okay. ADA spots, you have 2 proposed. What's the requirement?
There's 2 existing.
2 existing.
That requires 6, so we need to add an additional 4, which is not shown in the plan right now, but we'll add that.
You're going to add 4, so
4
there'll still
additional.
be 160 spots total.
Correct.
And the 160 spots, that's on the entire property or of this area?
Entire property.
Grease trap, you mentioned the grease trap and moving it, right? So you
Correct.
currently have it. How does the maintenance change for maintaining the grease traps, emptying them?
Mr. Applicant.
Yes.
With where they're located now?
Well, we're going to do, this is not going to change. The maintenance procedure is going to be, it's different location, but it's not going to change anything else than the location per se.
Should be the same.
Are they outside now?
Yeah.
So what is your maintenance of your grease traps?
Well, we open the pit where the grease trap is, and we remove the sludge. We get in there, and we treat that sludge as a waste. We keep doing the same thing.
You don't utilize an outside vendor to?
No, we do that internally with our maintenance staff and the cleaning crew. The cleaning, the waste pickup service, we use the same company for that. Our maintenance staff, internal maintenance staff, and then the sludge is removed and disposed by the waste company. We're going to keep doing the same thing.
Got it. And it's being moved closer to where the parking spots are, right?
It's moved right here at this location. From here to here.
There's no risk of sorry, can you show me where they are now?
I'll move to the other plan, the utility plan. Today, it's right here, this little structure.
Inside?
No, it's
That's outside?
outside the
Okay,
existing
That's the new
building,
building that you're proposing.
and then it's being relocated to this location.
Okay, and the lines for the grease trap and the drainage, because that all changes, right? So are they, where is the grease coming from and to?
The grease is coming from our raw material, the heights, the skin of the raw material. So that grease came out through the process and is trapped in this grease trap.
Meaning, it's in the existing building that's there?
Yes.
It's coming from that building?
Yes.
So are the lines longer now, or are they shorter?
It should be similar size. You can see it from here to here. So I believe right now it goes directly to the same location. But as soon as we had to relocate it, and due to grades, it became a force main system instead of gravity. That's the only change.
And we're not increasing the size of the grease traps?
It's the size of the grease trap is based on the expansion and maximum flow. But like I stated before, we have to meet the SRVSA maximum allowed number of that we're allowed to discharge to a sanitary sewer line, and that is meter. And the applicant has to submit that to the treatment works folks to make sure they comply. So we can't exceed that number.
So that's controlled by the DEP and by the local sewage authority?
That's controlled by the local sewer authority.
And who inspects the grease traps?
Our maintenance crew.
Okay, so maybe it's not required to inspect it like it is a restaurant? Okay. And last question for me, foundation plantings. Can they be planted somewhere else on the property?
We can show it in hands. Let me go to the plan. Obviously, we don't want to do anything in here. We're improving. We can add more shrubs in this location. I just don't know what it will be accomplished besides just meeting that number.
Well, it's required.
No, I hear you. So I'm sure the applicant is open to adding that material somewhere else. It doesn't have to be where the expansion is, right? I'm not sure what you're looking for.
I mean, I'm looking for a different type of solution other than zero.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
Can you explain again all of the plantings that we are already adding?
You explain those.
No,
There's still
did. It's-
233 missing?
Correct. So the question is, are you willing to install 233 shrubs somewhere throughout the site that are not interfere with the process?
Well, the main thing is that since we do process food product, pest control is a concern. So adding this material is, it's in favor of the pest control growth, of the pest growth.
I'm just looking for another solution other than
Is it
zero.
possible to maybe add some plantings to to buffer some of the residential properties, maybe put them on your property line or something like that?
I just turned on to the existing area, and
We do have a fund that if an applicant, for whatever reason, can't, there can be a cash contribution to a fund that the township then maintains and utilizes elsewhere. So that is another option. I think they're making, from me, my perspective, they're making an argument why the site may not be appropriate for additional plantings. So that's another option that applicant could consider. Cash contribution towards this dedicated fund that the township maintains and utilizes to conduct plantings on other maybe municipal property or right-of-ways.
I will leave that to the applicant.
We know the detail.
Perhaps, Mr. Diaz, you could work directly with our planner in our planning office to achieve that type of outcome. It might be a more desirable option for you. Your concern is noted with the pest control issue, so. Yeah, if you could get in touch with our planning office, perhaps we can make that a condition as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Sikora, any other questions?
For me.
Okay. Mr. Chowdhury?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. So tell me again on the fire department comment on number 2 comments, what you're going to discuss with him, or?
With the fire department, if you look at my screen, he is looking for this road to be 26 feet wide.
Right.
Right now, it's only 21.
Okay, so it's already existing 21.
It's an existing 21. We're not touching it. And we're hoping, we'll talk to the fire chief and see what kind of resolution we can come up with.
Okay. Also, Mr. Pack and Chairman, can we request for EV space, please?
If the board would like to make that a condition, that they install a compliant number of EV spaces, that's certainly something you can impose.
Can we recommend for EV space?
As far as EV spaces go, there's currently no proposal for EV spaces. Whether or not it's required or not, Ms. Sarmat, I'll defer to you, but we also have the option of potentially make-ready spaces, or
Yeah, so the state model ordinance, which is, the law, does include provisions for make-ready spaces, kind of the first step. The law initially was not clear about who it applied to, right? It makes allowances for EV spaces in certain locations. It makes other allowances as far as reductions from EV spaces in relation to the parking. But what came out after the law to clarify through the DCA and the DEP, even through guidance, was they basically clarified that the requirements are only based on a preliminary application, so a new application for a site plan, not an existing site plan. So while this is a new site plan application, it's really an amendment of an existing site, right? So there is no EV obligation. There is no requirement, in my opinion, for the property to include new EV spaces here. And that's based on the DCA guidance and their clarification that that's really just for preliminary plans. Now, could the board impose that condition? Possibly. My only concern would be that they are already 400 spaces, 406 spaces below what's required technically for the use on the property. And EV spaces really then hamstring the ability to use those spaces. And while we've heard testimony saying that, it's really only 80 spaces, let's say it's even 90, they're well under what they have on the property. My only caution would be when you are in a parking variance situation, further limiting who can use them, almost like a handicap space or something. It's limited to a certain type of user. That's my only concern, because they are in a variance condition. So but they aren't seeking a variance from the EV requirement. I did speak with Ms. Fay about that offline when the question came up before. But, my interpretation from the DCA guidance is really this is not applicable to an existing site. You can't make somebody add new spaces if they already have, a parking arrangement for existing site.
But can we recommend it?
You absolutely can recommend it, and I think it's up to the applicant if they want to agree with that or not.
Mr. Chairman? If Mr. Pack and Chairman agrees, we'd like to recommend it.
It's not my call. It's up to
Mr. Pappas?
I don't think it should be compelled. I think if the applicant wants to, I think that's fine. If it's not a requirement, I'm curious about the handicap spaces. What formula did you use to come up with the 4 additional spaces as compared to the 2 existing? How did you arrive at that number?
It's the ADA requirements. There's a table based on the number of spaces, how many you need, and it's required that you have 6.
Is it based upon the square footage of the structure, or what?
No, the number of the spaces provided for the entire site.
So just some percent.
It's proportional, yeah. It's proportional to the note. So when you have 25 spaces, you have to include 1 handicap space, and then plus 1, you have to,
And is that the formula that all site plan applications have to adhere to?
they should based on the ADA compliance.
And is that checked by anyone on our staff when people submit applications?
I usually check especially when there's a new.
Just seems that the number of spaces for additional is a lot more than I have seen in other site plan applications where it seems that it's a larger proposed expansion, or so. I'm happy about it. I just am surprised as compared to others where it seems that we'll have a 1 or a 2 additional, and there's a significant, I'm going to have to track this more closely myself and just,
And I'll ask Mr. Montana, was the site previously out of compliance with ADA?
I believe so.
So I think that's the issue
might be-
here, is that the
okay.
site pre-existed, probably any site plan changes
Okay.
may have pre-existed ADA changes, and so they're bringing it to compliance, which is actually a benefit here.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you for your insight, Ms. Sarman.
I have a few more.
Mr. Chowdhury, please continue.
Thank you. On the lighting, you said that you have a 3 LED light at a 25 feet height. Those are existing, or you'll add those?
We added those.
Will it affect, you also says that it'll for dusk to dawn, so will it affect the neighbors at night?
No, we did an analysis point by point, and you can take a look at, I can show you on the lighting plan, and we're not, we got zeros all the way around, so nothing will be affected to the existing residents.
Okay, but because rest are in 16 feet, should be okay anyways.
Excuse me?
Rest of the lights are 13 LEDs are at 16 feet, that should not affect any neighbors at all. So
Correct, those are the wall-mounted
Yeah.
fixtures around the building.
Okay. I also did not understand, you had a good reason why you are not putting 234 shrubs. Are you replacing with the equivalent trees or any other things with that? I know you are putting 45 trees there.
Like the board suggested, the applicant should coordinate with the planner, the board planner, and the board engineer, and see what they can come up with, as, an agreeable solution.
Yeah, we're going to recommend as a condition that they meet the number. If they can't meet the number, working with the board professionals, the number of plantings they're supposed to have on site, then they'll make up the difference by making a contribution to the township tree fund.
Okay, good enough. So you are disturbing actually 1.7 acres of the land, and so equivalently, you are obviously proposing the 3 different kind of the trees together, about 45 trees or so. I'm going to let up to professional to guide us whether that is sufficient for the overall stormwater management or not, because I'm not the expert on that side. So I'm going to ask Ms. Catherine to at least guide or whether it is okay or not. We already talked about the gas machines and the grease machine, all these things. And what else? Fire, you already include this one. Site work, what is a lighter necessary? Just give me one more minute. Oh, can you, it looks like there are 8 waiver you are looking for, and some are already existing one. Can you kindly go through this? I read these are 500 feet to 800 feet, 150 to 90, and 150 to 81, but I just want to know what all the waivers are that you mentioned. There's 8 of them, I wrote it down.
You're talking about the setbacks?
Yes.
I mentioned on the zoning?
Yeah, from Loser Street as well as the other streets. Just give me one more time the summary of all the waivers.
Yeah, I'll show you the existing condition aerial. Basically, some of these buildings have a pre-existing condition,
Right.
meaning they're not meeting the current ordinance in terms of setbacks for the front, the rear, and the side. So those are pre-existing conditions. The one that we're requesting a variance is for the building expansion for an auxiliary building that does not meet the criteria.
And what is that variance number, sir?
It's 27.7, I believe.
Yeah, the 75 feet to 27.7, right?
Correct.
Okay, and there's a new building you're requesting the waiver.
That's correct.
The rest of all the waivers are all existing.
Existing conditions, yes.
One you're looking for.
Correct.
Okay. So that's, we're going to ask professionals what they think about it. And what is this 60% versus 50.2%? Then you.
That's the impervious coverage.
Okay.
60 is allowed, and I believe it's 52% proposed, so well under the allowable.
Okay. And then you also mentioned about parking space related to 160 versus 565.
Correct. The ordinance require for the site to have 566 spaces.
But you don't need it anyway.
Existing conditions today before the improvements is 166, and we're going down to 164, going down to 160.
And that is inclusive of any of the ADA addition, or if you want to do EV, that inclusive of this 160. 160 will include all those things.
Correct. I mean, we have to look at the site plan, and we want to comply with the ADA requirement at a minimum, and we'll add the 4 spaces, and we want to make sure that we don't lose any spaces as we're doing that exercise.
Okay. No problem. I'm done. I'm writing down some additional things. I'll come back to a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Chowdhury. Mr. Pappas.
Going back to the fire marshal's report, the point number 1 references the fire department connection and hydrant. Those are, the hydrant is existing on site?
That's correct.
And is it privately maintained?
Correct.
Okay. And that would continue here, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
If I could, regarding the fire marshal report, item number 2, we talked about the size of the current throughfare. I understand the need for the utilities, or rather, not certainly utilities. Do we know, for example, if the turn radius is sufficient upon entering the site for I think it's a 33-foot hook and ladder?
Yeah, we just got that comment letter today, so we haven't done the analysis, but we can definitely do the analysis and coordinate with the planning board engineer to make sure that it can enter the site.
Okay, so just to address that comment, we can make that a condition as well, that we have that conversation as well. Just want to switch. Early in your testimony, you talked about sidewalk locations. Could you just go back to that and demonstrate to the board exactly where you're proposing the sidewalks?
So if you look at my screen, this is the new sidewalk that is in the south side of the building, and there's another one for the door that's behind the building that takes you to the parking lot.
Okay, so it's designed for local worker pedestrian traffic then?
Correct.
Okay. And just one more comment on the stormwater catch basins. If we could just look at the site at a high level, where are the catch basins located on the site?
I'll go back. I'll switch to the utility plan.
Yep.
So we have catch basins. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 catch basin. We have another one right here on a depression. We also are proposing 2 on the east side of the building, and an additional 2 more in the I would call it the north side of the building.
Okay, and you testified that you have an infiltration basin underneath the parking lot.
That's correct.
Okay, and once that water does enter the infiltration basin, where's it discharged to at that time?
Well, it's an infiltration basin, so therefore some of the water gets infiltrated into the ground, and then there's also an outlet structure that has the water that goes out to entice into an existing 15-inch line within the site, and eventually that goes all the way down to Southside Avenue towards the 24-inch existing pipe.
24, okay. That is all I have, Mr. Montana. Thank you. Are there any other questions from Mr. Montana?
Just one more question for the applicant. I think you mentioned the folks that would be in and out of this facility, but what about inspectors? Do you get that often now, and will that increase with this new facility? Obviously, you don't have to share any proprietary information, but do you have the capacity? Are you guys planning for that? With this new proposal, you might get more inspections. Okay, and then, if there's any, these are the federal inspectors that come in typically at these food facilities, right? The USDA.
USDA, FDA.
FDA, yeah.
New Jersey DEP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Has visiting us as well, Fire Marshal, Mr. Scalara is the name. Yeah, he's visiting us regularly, yeah.
And if there is anything that's potentially going to impact any of the residents or the township, do you inform us? Do you inform the township if the inspectors do find something that will impact? Okay, so that's ongoing now because you have this site already there, and then with this expansion, the risk might increase depending on, yeah. Okay, great.
Perhaps more of a question for Mr. Osborne. I testified earlier that their HVAC handling units will be on top of the new proposed structure. Is that correct? Okay. As far as any backup power generators, are there any existing or any proposed? Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I'll move it over to our professionals.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few questions mostly related to the landscaping plan. There was, I appreciate the testimony providing the compliance with the various requirements under section 126-191. Just some clarifications. Under 191.C2, there's a requirement that of the trees that are, the replacement trees that are provided, based on the disturbance, that 50% of them be deciduous shade trees. From what I calculated, it looks like about 10 of those 45 are deciduous shade trees. The other are evergreens, and so only about 22% is provided. I don't know if you're would look into potentially, making some of the other trees deciduous shade, or if you'd like to seek a variance for.
No, absolutely. We'll comply with the requirement. We'll revise the landscaping to meet that section.
Okay, thank you. As far as the actual species that are listed, I'm just pulling them up. Give me 1 second. They're at a minimum under 191.1A. I'll just point you in the right direction. That section of the ordinance, it lists out the acceptable deciduous trees. Some of them are not New Jersey native on that list that are acceptable, but I would just make a request that where possible, you do choose New Jersey native trees. In particular, there is also a list that follows that one that is not acceptable deciduous shade trees, one of them being the London plane tree. And it notes specifically that it doesn't provide great shade, and it also requires additional maintenance, and particularly near parking areas, some of the seed droppings and things like that and the bark are not the greatest. So if you could just replace, whatever trees have been chosen to, on the list, potential New Jersey native, again, subject to availability, and, with other options on that list, and then also just replace that London plane tree from the list.
Absolutely.
Ms. Ahmed, that's not a native tree?
The London plane is not a New Jersey.
There are lots of them around here.
There are a lot of them. They're a hybrid tree of a sycamore and another.
Right.
But on our list, it specifically says you can use it as a landscaping tree away from parking lots and, where it's supposed to be shaded. But as a shade tree, it's not it's on the no-fly list because of some of the maintenance that comes with it.
So it can be a shade tree, but not near a parking area.
It can be a landscaping tree. We have another list for acceptable landscaping trees that it appears on.
So the definition of a shade tree is for near parking.
There are requirements for shade trees in parking areas, and then also shade tree replacements.
Did you create that differentiation?
I did not.
Who did?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look back at when the ordinance was adopted. It's a very extensive landscaping list that we do have. And, there, like I said, I think right now, some of the trees on that list are not New Jersey native, but overall it does a very good job. I'm not saying every tree has to be New Jersey native. It does help.
It's another project to look at that.
That's potentially another project. But it's okay to have non-New Jersey so that there's some, competition. You don't want to, have species get hit with a disease. It's good to have some mix-up, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think in one of our council meetings recently, we had a resident who mentioned the native trees from the Rutgers list. I don't know if that's cross-referenced with the Rutgers list.
I think that same resident came to a meeting. Maybe I was at that meeting. That's where it was. Yes, I was at that meeting.
Yeah, I spoke to our public works superintendent about that, and he said that many of the native trees, New Jersey native trees, are not available
That's why I
Yeah.
recommended to the applicant that where available, because specifically where they source it from may not have it, or the price has gone up because of a supply and demand issue. But yes, so I appreciate your willingness to work on that, and thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Sarman. Ms. Raffay.
Thank you. I noticed on here, and I think Tom Genova also said it in his report, that there was the connection from the force main to the existing building there. It talks about, refer to the plumbing plans. Was that something that'll come up in, when you file for your building permits?
That's correct. There are plans associated with those improvements, and when the applicant submits to the building department, to submit the architectural, the structural plans, electrical, and plumbing plans, and you'll see those improvements inside the building.
Okay, so there's nothing, I mean, this is a force main, a new force main that's going into this building.
Correct.
There was no force main before, correct?
No, it was via gravity before.
Okay, all right. Could you just talk a little bit more about your stormwater? So just for full disclosure, we reviewed the stormwater in more detail after we put our review letter on the street, and we didn't find anything that was egregious. There's certainly some things that maybe I think we can work on as part of a condition of approval, but there was nothing in there that was too objectionable. There may be some house cleaning things that we can take care of.
Yeah,
but could you talk about the infiltration basin and the discharge from the outlet control structure to the existing stormwater system? Is there anything else that's feeding into that overflow besides just the outlet control structure?
Correct. Everything that's going into the infiltration basin then goes through the outlet structure, through the orifice, through the weir, and it goes towards the existing pipe.
Okay, so you have the runoff from the driveways, the runoff from the roof is all going into that infiltration basin, and anything that's overloaded in that system is going through, metered out through the outlet control structure.
That's correct.
Existing system, okay. Let's see. I know we've talked extensively about the grease interceptor. Is this a larger system? And you may have talked about this before, and maybe it got lost in the whole discussion in my head. But is this a larger system that was there before? Is there anything different about this system than what was there before?
It pretty much operates the same way it does today. So yeah, it's the same function.
Okay, so, and any additional discharge would have to go through a new treatment works approval and get approved. Right now, they are planning on still working within that same discharge.
That's correct. They're not allowed to increase the flow as per the SRVSA requirements.
Okay,
And if
there's
they do increase it, they do have to go and get an additional approval, but their intention is to stay the same.
Okay, so they're because of the increase in workload that's going to be happening, there could be an increase in discharge, and they might have to ask for.
No, my understanding is there is no change on how they're proceeding today.
Okay. And that the cleaning of the grease interceptor and any problems with the pump that is on the site is all taken care of privately. That's not a responsibility of the town to manage the grease interceptor or the pump itself.
That's correct. As the applicant just testified, they have a maintenance crew that takes care of the grease trap and the pump station.
Is the sanitary pump a redundant pump, or is it just a single pump that's in there?
There's two pumps and redundancy. So if one fails, the other one kicks in.
Okay. we already talked about the environmental impact statement. There was something in the package that said it was coming under separate cover. I think that was what we were talking about when we were looking at that. I think in the stormwater design, we would still need an operation and maintenance manual.
I believe that was submitted as part of the stormwater management report. It should have been one of the appendix.
Okay, I don't think we saw that. So again, I don't think that's a deal breaker at all. I think that's just something we can work through in resolution compliance. I don't see that as a problem. And I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Raffay. This time, I'd like to invite any members of the public that wish to question Mr. Montana's testimony. Please come forward at this time. There are no members of the public in the audience. That'll close the public portion for this witness. Thank you very much, Mr. Montana, for your testimony. Okay, Mr. Sullivan, who else do we have here this evening?
Okay, our last witness is our professional planner, Mr. Brian McPeak. Okay, could we begin with you stating your qualifications for the board?
Sure, absolutely. Let me just, a little bit of a sound check here. My name again is Brian McPeak. I am a licensed professional planner, member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. Been licensed by the state for coming up on 30 years. Testified in front of various boards, including this board. My license is in good standing this time.
And we would ask that he be so accepted.
Does the board object to Mr. McPeak's qualifications? Please.
Okay, so you are familiar with the area, the site itself, and the application that has been submitted?
Absolutely. And of course, heard all the testimony this evening. Substantial amount I'll cite back into later in my testimony. Just to summarize very briefly, as has been presented, Viscofan operates a facility here on this campus that manufactures basically collagen for collagen casings used in the meat industry, as described earlier, as well as biomedical collagen for skin care and skin health products. As we've discussed extensively, there are 4 existing buildings on basically a 15.3 acre site known as Block 301, Lot 2 on the township's tax maps. Excuse me. The specific proposal the board is considering this evening is a modification of the site to put on a 16,920 square foot addition to the existing building on the north portion of the site up against the railroad tracks there, as well as has been detailed extensively, revisions to existing walkways, parking areas, internal vehicle circulation, and some additional utilities, stormwater, and sanitary flows in particular. The site's located at the intersection of Southside and Lozer Avenues. It's in the M2 General Manufacturing District. Permitted uses include manufacturing, fabricating, printing. The existing use, the proposed use being the same, are permitted uses in the district. I have reviewed applicable portions of the township's land use ordinance, the new master plan. Congratulations on a new master plan. I know that can be an extensive effort, and when I was before the board last time it was underway, I was glad to see that you've made that progress. And I've become familiar with the review letters that have also been discussed pretty extensively this evening. Generally, my conclusions regarding the proposed development are that while there are multiple existing nonconformities, I concur with the board's planner as to the status of those nonconformities related to lot size, front, side, rear setbacks in particular. Those were detailed by Mr. Montana. I can review them again as need be, but his testimony from my presentation, or from my observations, was accurate and complete, so I think it's on the record at this point. Of the existing nonconformities, only one is exacerbated by the proposed building expansion, and that is the condition, the relationship of the building to the property line here along the railroad tracks. By extending this building to the east, we are continuing and exacerbating that 27.7-foot side yard condition, whereas the ordinance requires 75 feet in that situation. There are 3 additional bulk variances that have been identified. I'll go through those at this point. First is relief from section 126-33, or 333, let me try that again. Section 126-339.c, as the modified accessory structure totals approximately 30,835 square feet, which is larger than the ordinance allows. The ordinance restricts accessory buildings to 1,000 square feet. So it's a substantial variance in terms of the overall size, but given the context and the location and the size of the existing structure, I think the magnitude of this is not reflective of the significance of the proposed addition relative to this ordinance provision. Second, and this has been discussed extensively, at this time the applicant is proposing to omit foundation plantings as required by ordinance section 126-191C5. However, as has been discussed, they've agreed to work with the township professionals, and I believe what I heard at the end of that was the intent is to either meet that requirement, albeit maybe in different locations on the site, or provide payment in lieu to the township's funds. There's also a parking variance. 160 parking stalls is proposed where the ordinance section 126-169A requires 566 stalls. There are some questions raised in the reviews about ADA and EV charging. Those have been discussed here. With regard to the ADA, the intent is to work with the town's professionals and provide the ADA parking. And I believe at this point, my understanding is that whatever EV may be required, it's not a variance from the ordinance necessarily. I'm not here as a planner to put forward proofs for a variance on relative to the EV charging. At least that's my understanding of the way it's been left. Relative to these variances, the board is, I'm sure, as familiar as I am with the statutory provisions of 40:55D-70C. We're here tonight, from my perspective, I would view the existing nonconformities generally as C1 variances because the strict application of those regulations to the existing structures, in my opinion, would result in an undue hardship. So I would recognize any existing variances that need to be documented as C1 variances. The other variances, in my opinion, are C2 variances where, under municipal land use law, the purposes of the statute are advanced by the deviation from the zoning ordinance requirement, and the benefits of the deviation substantially outweigh any detriments. In both cases, obviously, we have to demonstrate that that relief can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and it will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan or the zoning ordinance. As I'll discuss through the rest of my testimony, I believe those positive and negative criteria are met by the applicant in this case. With regard to the positive criteria, my view is that these variances do advance the purposes of planning under the statute, specifically Purpose G, which is to provide sufficient space and an appropriate location for a variety of uses and public open space, public and private, in accordance with the respective environmental requirements in order to meet the needs of all New Jersey citizens. Relative to the negative criteria, let me pause for a moment, return to the positive criteria. Relative to the sufficient space argument for this site, I think that the campus nature of the site is well preserved by this addition. The reconfiguration of the supporting activities, the parking, the circulation, et cetera, all of those I think have been designed and integrated into the site in a way that it does provide sufficient space for the requested additional production space, but fully respective of all the environmental requirements associated with this site and its surroundings. So in my view, the purpose of planning there is advanced by these variances.
Can I just ask a question in connection with
Sure.
the additional plantings on site? Does that factor into either general welfare or an aesthetic upgrade?
Certainly an aesthetic upgrade, and I happen to believe, having visited the site and examined it pretty carefully, that the aesthetics of the site are actually beneficial to the community already, but certainly aesthetics are a general welfare condition. So to your point, Purpose A of planning is also advanced by some of these, by the improvements themselves. And relative to landscaping, that was your particular question?
Yes.
The willingness of the applicant to work with the township to integrate additional plantings and/or supplement efforts by the township throughout the community via payment in lieu certainly advances the public good. Relative to the negative criteria, given the existing conditions and the functioning of the existing facility and the nature of the proposed addition, I, as a general overview, don't see a substantial detriment to the public good by this application or any of the variances requested. Parking in particular is another one where the magnitude of the deviation is substantial, and I've heard the dialogue with the board about parking and understand the concerns that have been expressed and the responses that have been provided. To me, the applicant provided credible testimony with regard to how operations are conducted on the site today and in the future. And the notion that there's 130 persons that are employed at the facility today, approximately 67 in a max shift, 80 parking stalls might be utilized given shift overlap. That, to me, points to the adequacy of the existing parking, which is 164, as well as the proposed parking in the future of 160, given that testimony was that there's a limited, at most, I believe, approximately 10% increase in employment that Mr. Diaz testified might occur on the largest shift with this expansion. And given that by his testimony and by my general understanding of the site and the area, there is not a history of parking problems on the site where people have parked in an ad hoc manner or a random way on the site. So despite the magnitude of that variance, Given the testimony, given the history of the site, I believe that the variance can be advanced without a substantial detriment to the public good. The accessory building setback in size, the existing building obviously exceeds the size limitation and will exceed it again even more so into the future. However, its location, well to what I think a general observer would describe as the rear of the site, away from the public rights of way, backed up to a heavily wooded, or reasonably heavily wooded railroad embankment and a railroad. The existing and proposed conditions here are such that those features, that naturalized vegetation, the setbacks from the public rights of way, all those adequately buffer the existing building and the proposed building. So in my mind, again, no significant adverse effect. In fact, I don't believe there's any substantial detriment that's caused by the grant of those variances relative to that accessory building. Finally, prior to summer at least, the foundation plantings were discussed extensively. I mentioned a moment ago the applicant's commitment to work with the town's professionals and if need be, make a payment in lieu. To me, that while the variance is still there, the intent is to mitigate or eliminate any potential detriments that would result from the variance. Therefore, I can, as a planner, sit here today and find good reason for the board to move forward with that variance. In summary, the potential impacts resulting from these variances are extraordinarily limited. They are mitigated by the existing campus-like atmosphere and will be further mitigated by the other aesthetic improvements, the landscaping plans that are already shown on the plans, let alone to be supplemented moving forward. Turning briefly to the no substantial impairment of the intent and purpose of the zone plan and the zoning ordinance. As I noted, the township's new master plan, commendable effort. It details, from my review, an extensive and diverse manufacturing use space in the township, and clearly documents the support of that as a component of the township's economy. This project will advance those purposes of the master plan. So I think we're in good standing relative to that aspect of the negative criteria. And generally speaking, from the ordinance perspective, we're looking at a permitted use in the district, and it's a use that's conducted at a scale and an intensity that is consistent with the light manufacturing districts that are allowed, or uses that are allowed in the district. So I think, again, we're not doing any meaningful damage to the zoning ordinance by moving forward with these variances. So in conclusion, I would just note that the benefits of the deviation, the advancement of the purposes of plannings, clearly outweigh any detriments. In fact, from my viewpoint, there are really no detriments that this applicant has worked pretty diligently to mitigate and return to what I would detail as acceptable conditions from the standpoint of an outside observer.
Mr. McPeak, thank you very much for that very thorough testimony. At this time, I'd like to open up to the board for any questions. No questions from our dais. How about from our professionals? Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from our members of the public? No questions from our members of the public. Thank you very much, Mr. McPeak.
Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan, does that conclude all the testimony this evening?
Yes, it does.
Okay, do you have any closing comments?
The best thing I could do at this point is what he said. So, we would ask you to consider, everything that you've seen. Number one is the applicant's willingness to work with the board and the board professionals. Number two, we do feel that there are certain benefits to this application, including general welfare, providing sufficient space for commercial uses, and I feel also an aesthetic upgrade. In terms of detriments, I think Mr. McPeak pointed it out very well. Between the buildings on site, the plantings on site, and whatever additional plantings we come up with, I don't think anybody's really going to know that we've done anything there. You're not going to be able to really see the building. It's closest to the railroad tracks, so we don't really see any detriment at all. So I think both hardship and the C2 benefits outweighing detriment are applicable here, and we would ask you to consider granting the application.
Have we satisfied all conditions and requests?
Yeah, they've completed their testimony. I mean, the conditions, we threw a lot was being thrown around. So in addition to the standard conditions that would be applicable to all approvals, payment of taxes, et cetera, I have that they're to show 4 new ADA spaces, location to the engineer's approval. They have to provide various calculations and amendments to the zoning table to show various bulk regulations and the satisfaction of the same. They will provide a full environmental impact statement. They will, in accordance with the environmental memo, do signage and pavement markings, fire access lanes. With regards to the plantings, as we've discussed, they'll either meet the number of plantings overall required by the ordinance, that would include foundation and shade tree. They'll do that in conjunction with the board professionals, and to the extent they can't meet that number, we'll make up that difference with the contribution to the township's landscape fund. Also, with the fire official memo, they will confirm that the access width is sufficient for the fire trucks, the 21 feet going up to the 25 feet for 26 feet. If they're required, we just want to get some confirmation that the landscape plan, which would include species, again, and locations. New Jersey native species preferred, but the landscape plan will be approved by the board professionals. Stormwater management operations and maintenance manual. Professionals, and that was all I had, unless I missed something.
The sewer authority, I know that we had some feedback. The right-of-way.
Yeah.
I think the applicant's professional had some questions about certain points in those reports, so I think it would probably be appropriate for this to be a point of discussion without necessarily imposing all of the requirements in that report. I think there was some consideration that I think they're asking for.
Should we say maybe shall meet with the sewer utility, and to the extent they can't resolve matters to their satisfaction, this board will retain jurisdiction and they can come back?
Yeah, thanks.
They're also required as part of their compliance, when they do resolution compliance, to get the sewer utility sign off, actually. So it is, I mean, there's a second layer of protection, but I would essentially, that would be the condition, that they work with the sewer utility to make sure that all comments are addressed or resolved.
Yeah, I think that's.
Mr. Peck.
I like that, address
Or resolved, yeah.
So that means, right, they could sit down with Tom and he could be like, okay, that makes sense, we don't need it resolved.
Yeah. So, yeah, follow up with Tom Genova.
Mr. Peck, did you also include the fire department right about 26 feet versus 21 feet?
Yes, yeah, I got that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peck.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, so the motion would be to grant the requested preliminary and final major site plan approval with the bulk variance relief, subject to the conditions.
Unless anybody has any comments, would like to make that motion. That's Mr. Pappas. I'll need a second.
Second.
That's Mr. Magora. Ms. Probst, could I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Vessio.
Yes.
Mr. Bongiorno.
Yes.
Councilwoman Isla.
Yes.
Mr. Pappas.
Yes.
Mr. Magora.
Yes.
Mr. Wang.
Yes.
Ms. Sikora.
Yes.
Ms. Chartowich.
Yes.
And Mr. Chowdhury.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan, thank you very much. Mr. Diaz, best of luck to you, and thank you to all that testified this evening.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Congratulations. Thank you. That's right. See how 2 and 3 casings for hot dogs are made in the United States. That's right. All right.
Oh, they just make, they just, I think they just make the skins. They don't.
Ms. Charters, do you need a tour?
I usually like cut it.
Yeah.
Like
Ms. Sikora, maybe we can go on the second grease trap.
And I'm like,
Maybe. Okay. Yeah, it's,
it's okay.
okay, before we leave this evening, just some quick homework here. And we need to determine what dates this board and its members will be visiting the quarry at Chimney Rock. So we have 2 separate dates. Ms. Probst has already sent a message, and we just need to know who is available on which date. And perhaps we can get a little confirmation. Has anybody gotten back to you?
So we have, I have some people that are confirmed for both dates.
Okay.
Ms. Chartowich is the only one for July 16th.
Mm-hmm.
For July 22nd, it is Mr. Bongiorno, Councilwoman Isla, and Chairman Vessio. So only one other board member. There's only one slot open for the 22nd if anyone else would like to be put there.
Okay. So we,
Otherwise, they'll just be assigned unless you tell me that you can't make either.
so we have 1 on the 16th and 3 on the 22nd.
We have 3 available on the 16th and 1 slot available
In the reverse.
on the 22nd.
Okay.
I will be traveling both days.
Okay.
so not- Has there been that much change since last time I did Troy?
I don't believe so. They're probably going through the different phases at this time, but
I only available on 22nd if nobody going to compete with me.
Mr. Wang, sorry?
Yeah, 22nd. I only available then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anyone who didn't see it last time? Anyone here who did not see it on the last tour? Okay,
It is not a requirement.
right.
Yeah.
Just
so
to make that
I'm new, so I didn't go, obviously.
I have,
Yeah, I'll be there on the 22nd, yeah.
On 22nd.
Well, I think once you see it once,
It is very good. It's,
right. You see what you need to see for the next 20 years. Okay, Ms. Probst, our next meeting, I believe, is on July 21st. Correct me if I'm wrong?
and a residential application.
Okay. If I could just get a show of hands, who's available on the 21st? We should have quorum. Okay. Okay. No further business. Would like to make a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion.
That's Mr. Corr, second.
Second.
Mr. Bongiorno, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone.